Welcome to the Embodied Resilience podcast, where we explore the intersection of trauma-informed yoga, emotional and mental health, nervous system regulation, and the ancient wisdom of Chinese meridians. I'm Liz, a trauma-specialized yoga educator and space holder. In each episode, we will dive into practices, stories, and conversations that help you to return to your body, navigate life with more awareness, and support others with integrity and depth. Whether you're a yoga teacher, a student, or seeker, this space is for you. Hello, and welcome to this new episode on why most online yoga courses don't work and how to find one that actually does. I hear it so often in yoga-related conversations that you cannot learn yoga online, or just simply online courses don't work. And honestly, I do understand why people say these things, because many people have tried online courses and walked away disappointed. They buy a self-paced training, watch a few modules in the beginning, and then life gets busy, weeks pass, the course kind of sits there unfinished, and eventually it just becomes another tab open somewhere in the background of their lives. Not because the student didn't care, not because they were not interested, but because something about the experience never quite landed. They had the information, but the transformation never really happened. Over the years, I have spoken to many students who felt this way about online learning. They felt disconnected from the teacher, unsure if they were understanding things correctly, and often quite alone in the process. And indeed, simply watching videos does not turn someone into, for example, a yoga teacher. Teaching does, practicing does, embodiment does. Being witnessed, receiving feedback, and having someone guide you through the inevitable questions and uncertainties along the way, that's what shapes a real teacher. An online training can offer beautiful material and inspiration, but without accountability, reflection, and mentoring, it remains mostly theoretical. The real learning begins when you start to apply what you have seen and read, when you practice it in your own body, when you try to guide others and discover where you feel confident and where you need support. That process is what transforms knowledge into embodied understanding. Therefore, when someone tells me that online learning doesn't work, my answer is, well, it depends. Over the years, I have taken several online trainings myself that were incredibly impactful. And those who know me also know that I'm especially nerdy, quite detail-oriented, and super organized. Also, as an educator myself, my expectations regarding learning experience are pretty high. I completed my prenatal postnatal yoga teacher training online, and it was a very well curated and structured course by Steph Ball-Mitchell. I have taken Kelly McHugh's online marketing course designed for yoga teachers, which is just pure gold, and I'm so grateful for her incredible insights. And right now, I'm studying yoga therapy through an 875 hours online program with the Yoga Therapy Institute that I can honestly say is mind-blowing. The depth of knowledge, the way the material is presented, the teachers are all extraordinary. And I so appreciate that these online courses all allowed me to progress at my own pace and fit ongoing education in my lifestyle and in my time zone. So clearly, online learning can work. The real question is not whether online yoga courses work. The real question is why so many of them don't. And when you look at it closely, the answer becomes quite clear. Most online courses are designed around information. They assume that If you give people enough knowledge, they will naturally integrate it. But that's not actually how human learning works. A few years ago, creating an online course almost felt like the dream solution for educators. You could record all your knowledge, upload a series of videos, and students from all around the world could enroll and learn from you. And for a while, that model worked quite well. But something has changed in the online space and in online education over the past few years. We have moved from the information age into the implementation age. People are no longer struggling to find information. They are drowning in it. If someone wants to understand, for example, the nervous system, they can search online and find thousands of articles, books, podcasts, and videos. They can stream classes, listen to interviews, or even ask AI to explain something to them. Information is everywhere and at our fingertips. So what people are really looking for now is not more knowledge. What they want is clarity. They want guidance. They want to feel that the time, money, and energy they invest into a course will actually lead somewhere meaningful. And perhaps most importantly, they want to feel supported and as part of a community. This is the piece that many online courses miss. Because when students are left completely alone with content, something important disappears: the human element. There's no one to ask when something feels confusing, no one to help them navigate the emotional or personal layers that sometimes arise when we go deeper into practices such as yin yoga. And especially in work that touches the nervous system and emotional awareness, that human connection matters so much. Without it, students can easily feel lost, unseen, unmotivated, or unsure of themselves. They may understand the concepts intellectually, but they never fully embody the work. And that's the difference between information and transformation. Transformation almost always happens in relationship, through dialogue, through reflection, through being witnessed in the learning process. When I started developing my own online self-paced yin yoga teacher training, this was something I thought about very carefully. I didn't want to create another library of videos that people would watch alone and eventually abandon. What I wanted was to design an online learning environment that still carried the human qualities of a real training. Because even if we are not physically in the same room, the learning experience can still be relational. So in my online training, students don't just receive recorded material. We meet regularly for live mentoring sessions, where they can ask questions, explore challenges, and receive guidance. There is also a private community space where students can share reflections, support each other, and feel that they are part of a learning journey together rather than isolated in front of a screen. There are assignments, reflections, and check-ins that keep the process alive and engaging. At the same time, students have the freedom to move through the material at their own pace. They can pause when life becomes busy. They can return to the techniques and teachings months later and see them through new eyes. And they have lifetime access to the material, which allows the learning to deepen over time. Because real integration rarely happens in a rush, especially in practices like yin yoga that invites us into deeper awareness of the body, the nervous system, and emotional patterns. Learning something like this often requires time. Time to practice, time to reflect, time for insights to emerge naturally. And in many ways, this slower rhythm can actually be one of the greatest strengths of online learning. students are not overwhelmed by, let's say, a 10-day or week-long immersion where everything arrives at the same time. Instead, they can absorb the teachings gradually and allow them to become part of their own everyday life. For some people, that approach is much more supportive for the nervous system. Of course, the live trainings will always have their own magic. Being together in a room, practicing side by side, sharing meals and conversations, experiencing the collective field of learning, those things are also very special. And that's why I continue to facilitate my live trainings here in Thailand. This spring, the April and June courses will be the final opportunities to join me in person before I take a maternity break. After the June training, I will be stepping away from live courses for a little while, and they are expected to return in early 2027 once my life has settled into its new rhythm with a baby. So if joining a live immersion has been on your heart, this will be the moment to do so. But if traveling isn't possible for you, or if your nervous system just prefers a slower pace of learning, the online training, of course, remains available and continues to be a beautiful way to explore this work. And I truly believe that with the right structure, support, and community, online learning can be just as meaningful and transformative as being physically present in a room together. If you are not quite ready to commit to your training yet, that's also completely fine. There are many ways to begin exploring this work with me. You can start with my free offerings, which are simple entry points that allow you to experience the perspective I bring into Yin Yoga and the nervous system. And I'm going to share the links of these resources in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much for being here, for walking alongside me, and for supporting this next chapter as it unfolds. And if you feel called to join any of the trainings live or online, of course, I would love to welcome you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. If today's episode resonated with you and you feel called to explore this work more deeply, here are a few gentle steps that you can take. You can download my free ebook, Meridians, Emotions, and Yin Yoga, which is a nice entry point into this topic. You can try the free emotional and nervous system Yin Reset, designed for you to experience how my integrated signature approach, the Meridian Emotion Nervous System Yoga Method, works in practice. You can also watch my free trauma awareness webinar called Trauma Informed Yoga Foundations. You are invited to join my next live 100-hour trauma-informed Yin Yoga and Chinese Meridians teacher training in Thailand, or my 30-hour The Art of Trauma-Informed Space Holding course, also held in Thailand. Upcoming dates and details and links will be shared in the description. If traveling is not an option for you right now, or you are planning to complete my teacher trainings while I'm on my maternity break, you can also join my online self-paced 100-hour trauma-informed Yin Yoga and Chinese Meridians teacher training, or join the waitlist of the online self-paced 30-hour The Art of Trauma-Informed Space Holding course. The details and links of all these offerings are going to be shared in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much for being part of this community.